And our friend, distinguished professor at Troy University, Thane Rosenbaum, is also here with us for his legal commentary and expertise. Betsy, we've been hearing a lot from our guests, congressmen and otherwise, some people also there on the ground. What do you observe most about this, besides the fact, as we said, that the espionage charge is way out of line? What else is standing out to you?
Americans are very offended that the Department of Justice would be weaponized, that's the word of choice now, to go after a political opponent, someone who is the likely next president of the United States, certainly the likely GOP nominee. One of the interesting questions that we should cover a little more is the timing of any upcoming trial, because after all, if Trump doesn't go to trial till after the election and then he wins re-election, he can pardon himself and there will be no trial. So I'd like to hear everyone who has legal expertise on this join in on the discussion of, will it be possible to delay this trial till after the election? Thane?
Oh, I'm here. Yeah, sorry, Betsy. Well, that should be the game plan. I would assume that everything will be challenged and everything will be appealed. And so the notion of starting the trial is one thing, finishing the trial is something else. Donald Trump is going to use the courthouse steps as a place, as a soapbox. And I think he's going to relish that idea. The whole trial is going to become the main issue in the campaign. I don't know if that's a good thing, right? Because, the Biden administration doesn't have a very strong record. Yeah. So it would be a shame if the entire campaign was about Donald Trump hopping from Atlanta to Miami to Washington, D.C., back to New York. That wouldn't be good because, the Biden administration is vulnerable. I also wonder, there are ways to extend this. Hey, by the way, if I was Donald Trump's lawyer and I knew that I had Aileen Cannon as my judge, the first thing I would do is walk in and say that the search itself was illegal and none of the documents should have been taken, because no one ever did challenge that in criminal court. And we already know that she ruled in his favor in connection with the privilege of the documents. If you want to extend this trial, just file a motion for that alone, that this is an illegal search. And that let's start with that. In addition to, as Bob said, the attorney-client privilege was ignored. There are so many challenges here that it would be very difficult, I think, to get through this case very quickly.
So you're saying even if it came out that it was a search warrant voted on by a grand jury, approved, so that the August 22 raid was valid, you're saying that could eat up 2 or 3 months right there?
I would be all over that.
Okay, I'm just curious, because I got to tell you, Thane, here's the thing. I don't think
go to the Supreme Court.
I don't think that most people would have a problem with pushing this out. It seems like people understand somebody running for president shouldn't have to deal with this, especially in this case. Again, it would be a different circumstance, Lydia. I think if if you were selling documents, selling information, if you were the Rosenbergs, right?
Right. Or if you destroyed 33,000 emails, if you destroyed cell phones, if you lied to investigators, if you sent classified emails to Anthony Weiner, if you purposely, okay?
No, go on.
You're on a roll. Go ahead. Do you see what I'm getting?
I know where you're going.
You understand what I'm saying?
I know where you're going here.
So the other point I wanted to bring up is, everybody keeps saying that he did this to himself. Listen, Donald Trump's a lot of things. One of them is he is not stupid. You're going to tell me that these investigators came to him, the FBI, whomever, and they said, hand these over or you're going to spend the rest of your life behind bars. And he said, nope, I'm going to keep them. Go, whatever. I can't imagine that. I think there is maybe some kind of miscommunication, some kind of craziness going on, because it doesn't make any sense to me. Because if this world did make sense, Hillary Clinton would be under investigation. Biden would be under investigation. If anybody is guilty of possible espionage, whereas you're kind of scattering around classified documents, it would be Joe Biden. No?
Yeah.
I mean, they're in his garage. He doesn't have the power to declassify documents like Donald Trump does.
Maybe he gave the National Archives a bit of a runaround, and who wouldn't?
Right.
That's exactly what he did.
That's a thing, and that's why
that's a wise guy's thing.
Yeah, that's exactly. So, Thane, is there any possibility, hey, let's talk this over? Yeah, the former president, he probably should have given him quicker. Yeah, we weren't thrilled about the raid, by the way, but let's bring this to a resolution of some kind.
Well, Bob, that's one of the reasons I say they can go back and challenge the legitimacy of the raid, because what they should be saying is the Presidential Records Act protects presidents from being able to discuss with the National Archives what he or she could keep. We thought we were negotiating with you. You treated me like a drug dealer. You treated me like a Colombian drug dealer, and you had no business getting a search warrant, given the fact that I had lawful possession of these documents under the Presidential Records Act.
And this act is designed to protect the president. That's the whole purpose of this law.
Let's make clear. We've got a lawyer here that can answer this question. As I understand it, the Presidential Records Act thing deems that the property when you leave the office of president no longer belongs to the president, it belongs to the public, correct?
So remember, George Washington took documents home. But
that was way before 1976 or 78.
There's a long history.
Right. I think he had some in his socks as well, like Sandy Berger's.
Of presidents taking it home. So at some point in the late 1980s, they passed this law, a civil law. It's not a criminal statute. Right. I think you mentioned that earlier, Bob. Yeah. It's not a criminal. And it's really there to begin a friendly conversation between the president and his staff and the National Archives. Right. It's supposed to be friendly. It's supposed to be a negotiation. What would you like to see take home? Why do you want that? No, Mr. President, we really think we need that. It belongs to the people. Right. So that's why I'm saying that not only you could question why was there a raid to begin with, but that's one question. Secondly, it's the point that Dick Morris said earlier, who's missing in the courtroom today? It's Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, except for one thing. The Presidential Records Act did not protect them.
Right.
They weren't president.
They were not president.
They were not president. So just to show you the absurdity of the espionage claims, he was holding on to something he had a right to hold on to. Yes, I love what Betsy said. Maybe he played around, and that's true. That's why I said when I first started with you today, I said obstruction looks like there's something there. Espionage is the overcharge, because they wanted to load it up and embarrass him and make him look like the worst criminal who should not be running for re-election.
All right, Thane, Lydia, and Betsy, lots more to get to. Stay with us, but joining us now to discuss